When you interview with companies like that, be so good they can't forget you. Just go in there and wow them. Give them a vision of where you could be as a technician, and they'll want to invest in you. And a good company with good culture and a good culture of training and education will have a program like that put in place where they can teach you.
Right. I was wondering if you could talk today about the differences between apprenticeships and trade school.
Trade schools obviously have been around for a long time. I went to trade school 21 years ago. I started at Vatterott College. It was a good experience, very hands-on. It's one of the things that I liked about the particular school was a lot of lab, a lot of real-life air conditioners that, just like everybody, we're visual learners. We got to get our hands on things, especially in this industry. You can't just read about it in a book or take a test and think that, okay, now I know how to work on one of these things. Depending on the teacher and how much ownership they take into the students and all those kind of things can play a role in someone's experience and how well everything goes. Definitely good option for anybody that's interested in getting into a mechanical trade.
What is the difference between what you learn in trade school and an apprenticeship?
The apprenticeship program, a lot of companies are set up now. They are deciding to hire people, find employees that have a good attitude, good personality, in our particular case, being a residential service provider, good people skills, those kind of things, and then teach them this industry. So this apprentice program is a way for us to provide a level of education for these applicants and these employees without the need to go to school at all. So a student can avoid the dreadful student loan debt.
So you yourself have trained technicians here from knowing absolutely zero to them being in a truck?
Zero. No experience whatsoever.
So have you seen a difference you have students here, you teach here every day.
Yep.
Do you notice a difference on somebody who's come out of trade school with basically no experience and somebody who has no experience and no education?
Yeah.
What's kind of the difference in those two outcomes?
The one big benefit of an apprentice program is that we can teach them and train them the way we want them to be trained versus universally. We know that in our industry, someone's success rate in our industry has more to do with their communication skills than actually even their technical skills. I would say that's one thing that a lot of trade schools are not teaching as much is the communication aspect of our industry. But it's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. You could be the greatest technician technically, but if you don't know how to communicate the failure and educate the homeowner on their options, then you might get a no. We do a lot of that. That's part of the apprentice program, is for us at least. It's a lot of technical training, but also a lot of communication training on teaching them how to communicate those things to homeowners. That's one really big difference.
Okay.
It's also, like I said, just catered to what we need versus technical school. It's a very well-rounded education. So for the student that's like, look, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know whether I want to do residential. I don't know whether I want to do commercial. I don't know whether I want to get into industrial stuff. Trade school gives you that option of a little bit of everything. In a year to 2 years, you can go through a program that teaches you a little bit about everything, whereas an apprentice program is probably more time spent on what we do. If you go into it going, I really love the idea of doing residential, or I love the idea of doing commercial, then yeah, trade school is going to be teaching you a little bit about something that maybe you really don't have a lot of interest in doing.
When you were going through trade school, did you find that you were prepared to go straight into your job, or do you need something in addition to that? Or?
Yeah, when I went to trade school, I was working at the same time. So I went to trade school in the morning and then worked in the afternoon, and I will say my progression through trade school was significantly faster than I think the typical student, because I was out there in the field doing it. All of my fellow students, none of them were in the field. They were all envisioning like what this industry is going to look like, right? Whereas I'd already been doing it for a while, so my progression was pretty darn fast.
What are maybe some benefits of, because full disclosure, we do train apprentices here. So what are the benefits that you found after you've gone through trade school, now you train all of our apprentices? What do you see as the benefits of being an apprentice?
I personally think one of the biggest benefits to the apprentice program is much more one-on-one. We just completed back in April 3 particular individuals that went through it, one of which had 0 experience, and the other 2 had already been through trade school, and we still put them through the apprentice program. All three ended up in the field at the same time. They all three were on the same level playing field. All three just doing amazing. They're doing a great job. When you go to trade school, it's just that it's a school. You're in a classroom full of 25, sometimes 25 students, and there's only so much time the teacher can spend with each student.
Do you think that the hours of training are somewhat similar? You're not sitting with them for 8 hours a day, are you? Like, what is...
No, but there's days I'll be with them for 6.
Okay.
Yeah, they have classroom days where we'll take breaks in between and take a lunch and then get back at it in the afternoon and go till mid-afternoon. And then there's days where they spend doing ride-alongs and shadowing, and then another day of going out and being a helper on an installation crew and stuff like that. So they're really getting to see all the different aspects of our industry. But when it comes to the training days, it's me being able to make eye contact with every one of those individuals over and over and over again, and they're not afraid to ask questions. I don't want to look like a fool in front of 25. Sometimes that can be nerve-wracking. They're all,
it's you and a couple
get to know each
couple other people.
Yep.
So any words from apprentices that you've put through the program after they've been working in the field? Do they feel like they're doing okay, confidence-wise?
Yeah, they really do. We do a lot of role-playing in this building, too, which helps with that. Pretending like somebody's a customer and the other person's a technician, because when you get out there on your own, you're doing it in front of a complete and total stranger. But yeah, confidence, it's always going to be a little shaky at first. You're trying something new. Once they get out there on their own and they really start repetition and seeing more and more of it, it all starts making sense. But I would say the one thing about an apprentice program that I would say honestly gives it an edge, but personally I love it. They feel so supported. Their teacher is their manager, and they're a phone call away when they get out in the field, that they know that this is the guy that taught me. If I have trouble in the field or I need help with something, that person's a phone call away, and they're gonna take care of me. And I see their growth. I see their weaknesses. I see their strengths. When they do get out in the field, I know moving forward what they need to work on.
Then also, as far as the apprenticeship goes, so take that technician that you were just talking about who came in with zero experience in anything, zero education. How long was it before he was in a truck?
8 months.
Just 8 months? Okay.
8 months, yep. Of classroom, field training, shadowing, all the above.
Is that pretty typical for, okay, so he's not just like
the
different.
Stellar,
okay.
The scholar, yeah, no, not at all. It's just,
Okay.
a very focused, great attitude, good personality kind of person that really is invested in this and wants to do this as a career.
How much did it cost him?
Zero.
Yeah,
Just,
I think
a buy-in.
if they're both equal, there's a little edge on one not costing anything out of pocket.
It's also a big investment from the company.
Yes,
You know, a lot of money spent by a company to train and develop someone. Anybody that goes through an apprentice program like this, there's a level of appreciation, big time, because this company has invested so much in me, time and money, to teach me this industry and help me further my education and get into a career that I'm interested in.
Any just advice for a high school student or even a college student or somebody who's looking to change careers? My tip is always to just go and do a ride-along if you just have this vague interest in something.
If you think that, you know what, I may want to do this, but I don't know a lot about it, go to a company, present yourself so well, and just ask, is it possible for me to come in and do a ride-along with a technician for a day? In fact, I would even say, I would encourage someone, give it more than a day. Ask them, I don't want to be a burden, but can I do a ride-along with 2 different technicians for a couple days? And I would like to believe that if a company is willing to let that person do that, one, they already like that person, and then that person's probably going to be appreciative for the company and maybe end up going to work for them. But yeah, 2 days of ride-alongs, I think you'd get a pretty good idea that, would I be good at this?
I think that would be a good investment of your time to spend a couple of days doing that instead of going to school for something for a year, coming out and being like, actually, this isn't my thing.
And I've seen that. I've seen that so many times, and it breaks my heart, because it's like, gosh, you made such a sacrifice with your family, financially, time, that you'll never get back, and then you end up not doing it, not enjoying it. Like I've said before, when it comes to following people's passion, we've kind of twisted that a little bit and said that find something you're good at and become passionate about it. So when you go in and do a ride-along with a technician in this industry, ask yourself, do I feel like I could be good at this?
Right.
Not would I love it. You don't know anything about it. How are you going to know whether you're going to love it or not?
Right.
And
I find that you tend to start loving the things that you excel at.
Yeah, and you get better and better at it.
Thanks, Matt.
So thank you.
All right.